Sergio, let's start with rideshare versus flipping burgers. Now, I think this one came about because of a tweet, and I can't remember, was it you or I that tweeted it?
Yeah, I did. I tweeted it and you called this the dumbest thing I've said. And I was
Okay, so
like,
here's
and
the
I responded to you just crossfire.
here's the quote. I said, "This is the dumbest thing you've said since our last Crossfire.
Yeah,
Driving rideshare is 10 times better than flipping burgers if
10
the pay
times.
is comparable. There's no boss. There's a flexible schedule. You work as much or as little as you want. Cash out
Mm.
instantly. Drive around the city of your own car. Did I miss anything? Not even close enough. You're sort of taking the side here that you would rather flip burgers. We're not talking about In and Out. We're talking about flipping burgers, Wendy's, Carl's Jr.,
And
whatever it
more.
might be, than drive rideshare. So explain yourself.
Yeah, well, I responded to your tweet by saying no boss equals algorithm. On the second one, you said work as many hours as you want. I get that part. That's something to do with, I guess, the flexibility and the freedom part of it. But I can work part-time. All the things you said didn't make any sense to me for the fact that I take everything in life risk to reward. Okay.
Okay.
The risk of flipping burgers versus risk driving people around is immensely different, obviously. Okay. And I tested it again yesterday. I went out and did 14 Lyft trips. I grossed a whole $149 in 6 or 8 online hours, which puts me right about 17 before expenses. And I'm going like $7 an hour expenses. I'm at 10. I can go flip it and make 20 with no risk. So what say you about that? I mean, look, the money versus the commensurate to risk is not there at this point. Was it there 2 years ago?
All right. Well,
Absolutely.
let's start with the risk. What are you basing that data on, that being a driver is riskier than driving for Uber? I'm not disagreeing with you yet, but I mean, when I go on
Okay.
Instagram or TikTok, obviously there's all these viral videos of,
Yeah.
people attacking Uber drivers, but I also see a lot of viral videos of customers attacking people working at McDonald's and working, at Burger King and, getting shakes thrown in their face, right? And so,
Yeah.
obviously I've driven before. I know that there are times where you can feel very unsafe, right? Where you're driving, you're picking someone up who has a fake name in the 2 a.m. in an alley, and you feel unsafe. But I guess
Well,
what's
the
your data
risks of
there?
driving, just the risks of driving, forget being attacked, carjacked, stabbed, whatever that's going on these
Hmm.
days. That's societal problem. I'm not sure even the attacks
Okay,
on
so
McDonald's employees is a
I guess that was
societal
my
problem.
first point. There's societal problems, right, with like working in retail, having to deal with homeless people, you know what I mean? Like I think if
Yeah.
anything, Uber and Lyft are kind of safer on that front, right? Because most of the people getting
No.
into your car have an app, they have a credit card tied to it, right? No random
Is
person
that
can just get into
is
your
that is
car
that
like if you work at 7-Eleven.
okay? But is that why delivery and rideshare driving has been it is actually we actually did a segment on Show Me the Money a couple of weeks ago. They listed all the most dangerous jobs on the planet. Delivery and rideshare driving was number 5, above cops and firefighters. And it was done by
Who's
Forbes and it was
they?
done by October 2023. So it's not like a 10-year-old stat. So look,
Well,
inherently
I mean, what's
driving,
the send me the article. What's the stat, right? Like typically the Bureau of Labor
the first one
Statistics
was the
said
people
that.
in Alaska, doing the
Well, I
crab
know, but
fishing.
what are they basing that data on is my point, right? I don't just
Oh,
trust some list on that I see
well,
on Forbes. It could be,
if you're driving
what's the data
5,000
based
miles a
on, right?
month,
Like,
I mean, look, if you're driving 5,000 miles a month for a full timer or a couple thousand a month as a part
mhm.
timer, that's double what an average American drives. Okay.
Yeah.
So the chances of you getting in a fender bender or a serious crash, be it your fault or somebody else's fault, was a lot higher than standing somewhere and flipping burgers. That's the risk to reward that
Got
I'm
it.
looking at.
That I agree. That is fair, right? The risk of getting into an accident. I mean, there's 40,000 people die every single year driving on the roads, which I think is like it's literally like one of the most risky activities people can do is driving. So I think that's fair. Getting into a car and then you're doing, 2 to 4x the amount of miles, right, on your vehicle, right? So that part is safe. Obviously, you can control some of that, right, by being a safe driver and sort of what do they call it, defensive driving, right? You can't control everything, right? If someone speeds a red light and you don't see them, but yeah, so I guess there are some things that you would not experience necessarily. I guess to me, the argument is more, and I'll be honest, I've worked a lot of service and retail jobs, over the years. Like I used to be in the Santa Monica Mall in high school, asking people to take surveys for like $3 a survey. I did the volleyball team's laundry. Like I've done a lot of shit jobs in my life. I've actually never flip burgers though. So to be fair, but I can imagine because I've worked in very similar types of jobs, right? And obviously we know that people love gig economy. They love driving Uber and Lyft because there is no boss, right? You can work as
There's
much
a
or as
boss.
little as you want. So I guess to me, what's your threshold, right? If you could make, let's say, $20 an hour after expenses driving Uber and Lyft, and you could also get that flipping burgers, right? Like, what would you take in that scenario if it was the
Definitely
same pay?
flipping burgers. 20 after expenses,
Really?
definitely still. If it's equal, look, if it's to me,
I
I mean,
mean,
forget
Sergio,
flip.
I'll
I
be
mean, if it's
honest. As you're my employee and I'm your boss, you never listen to me. You never come in. You never do what you say. You think you could do that flipping burgers? You have to be there at 8 a.m. You have to be there till 5 p.m. You have to work holidays. You have to work the busy times, the busy nights.
right.
Like that seems horrible.
Oh, well, it could be horrible. You're gonna smell worse probably
You're gonna
if
smell
you
like
flip
shit when you come
burgers.
home. You're probably never
But
gonna be able to eat a burger for the rest of your
yeah,
life.
I am just looking at the overall risk reward and overall compensation that I'm getting for the job that I'm doing. I think, driving rideshare inherently obviously is risky we almost agreed on that, but I don't think $20 is enough after expenses to do rideshare any longer. I mean,
So
that's my
for
opinion. Now,
you,
the
yeah, no,
audience
I
will
don't think
decide.
honestly. I personally, I think most people kind of vote with their feet. I don't think most people like if they were given the choice. Well, I mean, I think it's pretty clear. Most people do, opt for Uber and Lyft over, kind of flipping burgers if the pay is the same, right? That's a big if, right? But I
Yeah.
guess tell me, right? What if let's say flipping burgers at McDonald's or Burger King
I
got you
think,
20 bucks an hour in
the
LA?
way,
What would
look,
you need to drive
okay,
Uber and Lyft after
the way I look at
expenses?
it to do rideshare in today's day and age, I have to be about 50% above my minimum wage in my city. Okay.
Percent
So
above minimum wage.
In LA, that's 17. Let's say if I'm at 28 or so to 30, then yeah, I definitely would do rideshare even on a full-time basis. So look, I'm not saying, rideshare doesn't come with its own benefits. Obviously, the flexibility, turn the app on, go whenever, wherever, whatever, but that's debatable as well. You know, when I do go out and drive now, and I did it 2 weeks ago on Uber, 21 and a half online hour. Yesterday, literally, I was at 17 online hour, and I did not take everything either. So I was like, what am I supposed to do? I mean, I'm looking at it after 8 hours of driving
Well,
and 6 hours
I mean,
active.
the
I'm like,
online
no,
versus
this
active
is
is a
not good.
good point, right? Like you kind of want to be, obviously, you're kind of paid for being, kind of active, right? I guess you would say, right? Like you're not paid for that downtime. But, when you're at working at McDonald's, right? Like you're busy, right? And actually, I went into a McDonald's the other day and bought my kids some shakes. They don't even have cashiers anymore. So you're going to be like in the back working, cooking, like you're not even doing the easy job. You're literally going to be like cooking food, cleaning up shit, doing the bathroom, right? Like this is like a tough job versus like
I
sitting in
said,
an
no,
AC, nice
I'm just
car.
looking at money. Look, Harry, I'm out there for me. I'm not out there for
Yeah,
Uber. I'm
I
not
think
out there
that
for
is,
Lyft.
yeah, I think
I'm not
you're
out there for the
definitely,
passenger either. All I'm out there is I'm trying to make the most amount of money the shortest period of time. At the moment, equal circumstances, 20 bucks on one, 20 bucks on the other one. Risks for me are not worth the rewards.
okay,
And
that's fair. I think for you personally, it sounds like not worth it. But what do you think for the average driver? What do you think? You think if it's 20, like what do you think they would say? Like the average driver?
I think they would agree with me, and then we're going to find out in the
Really?
comments. But look, your point is well
Okay, well
taken.
let's
16.5
ask the
million
viewers in
people.
the comments because this is all right. I'm definitely going to win this first topic. I think for
No,
sure,
you're
like if
not.
you have the option for like, I would 100% rather drive for like. I guess this is the question to the audience. Would you rather drive for Uber and Lyft if you could make $20 an hour after expenses, or go flip burgers and make $20 an hour after expenses? Which would you choose if the pay was the same?
We'll find out. But
You think
the
the
thing is,
audience will say flipping burgers? I think for sure Uber
okay,
and
well,
Lyft,
we're going to
gig
find
economy.
out. We're going to find out. For the soccer mom, yeah, for a maybe full-time driver, the answer may be different. However,
Yeah,
everybody
that's
goes
fair. Well,
like,
maybe
why are
maybe
six and
people
a
can
half million
comment
people
too.
doing it?
Yeah, maybe people can comment too and sort of explain why, right? Oh, I'm full time, or oh, I'm part time, or whatever it
Yeah,
might be. So yeah, because I think that definitely. All right. Well, I think we've hit this hammer on the head. Did we agree or disagree?
disagree. I rather flip burgers for 20 bucks. For the same money, I rather flip burgers with no risk.
So you'd rather flip burgers for no risk, and I think that I agree with you that there are, you're more likely to get in to an accident and have issues with that. But I think the other positives, like having worked in retail, like kind of the more having a boss, all those defined jobs, like I hate those, they suck, and I'd much rather kind of work for
No,
myself, even if
we're
it is,
obviously, look, we're obviously glamorizing the subject a little bit here. We're saying flip
yeah.
burgers because it's kind of catchy, but you can compare that to standing around at Target, standing around at Walmart, whatever it is. I'm just
I
saying
think what all those
equal
jobs
equal
have in
equal
common.
jobs.
Yeah, what all those jobs have in common though is that you've got to schedule shifts in advance. You typically, if you're a waiter at a restaurant, you got to work the busiest times. You have to work certain times and days, right? Like I'm not going to hire someone like Harry who, goes out and drives whenever the hell he feels like it, takes a month off, a year off, whatever it might be, right?
Same as
So
rideshare. Same as rideshare. You gotta, I mean, look, yesterday I went out and when I drove, it wasn't the deadest hours. I drove from 10 a.m. to like 3 p.m.
yeah,
It wasn't like the worst day to work and worst hours to work. Still wasn't there. When it's not
yeah,
there, it's
that's
not
true.
there.
There's definitely some challenges there too. Well, all right. So that was rideshare versus flipping burgers.